You're listening to the Punisher Waterfowl's The Union 0430 podcast, brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality, built to hunt. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430. This is episode 143, and as usual, we always come through with some pretty amazing guests. And this week, well, two things. Ryan is here, which is awesome because for those of you that don't know, Ryan comes on every 20 to 30 episodes just to make an appearance when he's got the time. Philly is on, coming to us from Ontario. Ryan is on, coming to us from Nova Scotia. Dave and Mark, God knows where they are and what they're doing. But coming to us from Oregon, we got Mr. Mario Friendly coming to us with Final Approach. Everybody knows the name. So when I reached out, everybody knows the name. And when I reached out to you, Mario, and I said, "Hey, listen, you should come on the show," you were like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like there was no convincing whatsoever. You were like, "Yeah, let's do it. You give me a time and I'll be there." So a little bit of back and forth because everybody, it's okay if you get mad at Mario right off
100%,
because he's leaving tomorrow to go hunt snows in Saskatchewan. So we've already chewed him out off air.
Good.
Told him what we thought about him, and we're going to get on with the show here right now. So Mario, buddy, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. So it's good to have you, and I'm glad we caught you before. Now the only thing is we got to get you back after your hunt in Saskatchewan.
Oh, no doubt. We could talk anytime. I mean, one of the, I'll go through just a little bit of background, but so it'll lead me to what I'm about to say. So we bought the company from Vista, right? Which owned Vista owns everything. They have 40 brands, 30, like whatever in the outdoor industry. Yeah. And we bought Final Approach from them in
2018, July of 2018.
Yeah. And we started grinding then, and it was like a fact-finding mission. And I'll try to make this short because it's long, but it was like a fact-finding mission on like the factories they were using and go through all the products and what's gonna continue, what's gonna go away, what can we make better, is this price fair for what we're getting it made for? Can we make it better? Can we make it less expensive? Just a year and a half of like finding facts, like going through paperwork, going to China, like going through all this stuff. And the cool thing about everything is that it wasn't like left for dead. It just was like, the brand was just like kind of sliding through, right? Yeah, it had a couple changes in buyers, right? Had a couple changes in buyers, and the main thing is they didn't ruin the name. You know what I mean? Like that was like the main thing. And my whole goal was to get all the products and get everything right and get the team together and get all that going. And then, obviously attack the US first and get everything back going. But Canada was such a huge market for Final Approach, like when it was going and in its heyday. I mean, Phil said it before we even got on, like, his first blind was a FA, eliminator, like everybody's was like it. Yeah. If you were growing up at that time, 100% that was it, right? So we wanted to get back to there because Canada was such, Canada was huge for Final Approach, absolutely huge. So that's what we're pushing for.
And Bill, Ryan, you guys have been on. We've done this show a million times, and listen, the majority of our the majority of our industry guests that have been on this show have been from south of the border, which is, that's just the way it is. But I don't think, and I'm not slagging on any guests that we've had in the past, boys, but I don't think we've had anybody come on right on the outset and say, Canada was such a big market for us, like what Mario was saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's funny. Like there was a clothing company I used to represent, and they don't ship to Canada.
Yeah.
Like why is this so difficult?
Whoa. Like, how do you not, like, how do
I
you
don't know.
not do that? You know what I mean?
You put a box in the mail with some scribble on it and and a little stamp, and some magical man gets it across that border.
It's like, yeah, it's a miracle, right? Like we
Right,
can
this-
put somebody on the moon, but we can't send some clothing to Canada, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't get it.
The
But like
feet-
First Light, which uses FedEx.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
First Light uses FedEx.
Yeah.
And from Utah to the metropolis of Port Perry, Ontario, I've seen stuff arrive in as fast as 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wonder of the world, that whole
Yeah.
shipping thing, right?
Right? Just mind blown.
Yes, 100%.
Mind blown.
We can grow sheep in a fucking bowl. Can't get clothes across the border.
That's true. We can do all
Hey.
kind of stuff. Like, listen, there's been crazier stuff done. There's no doubt about it.
If there's a title for this episode, that was it. We can grow sheep in a bowl. Ryan, what do you think?
Let's go with it.
Let's go with it. He said,
Yep.
let's roll with it. Let's roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
But
my
Mario,
God.
you sort of alluded to it, right? Like you guys bought the company in 2018. It was established. It wasn't the company wasn't built originally
Right.
to be a big money generator or to become rich and famous. It was just a hunter that just wanted to continue hunting
There's
and be
no
as
doubt.
comfortable as that he could be. And the Eliminator was born, which, in 25, so what are we looking at? About 30 years ago when the Eliminator came out.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but I don't think there was anything else out. There was no coffin blinds out at that time, right?
No, like and honestly, Phil talks about the one that he had, but honestly, the first one, see, Ron Latchaw had started it, and Ron was in Oregon, actually, Southern Oregon. And the first blinds he built were called sliders.
Okay.
And if you ever like hear of one or whatever, you got to get pictures, because it's something that you'll say to yourself, like, what in the hell was that? Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was huge. You couldn't carry it out to a field. You couldn't do anything. And it had this big door that you slid so you can get up and shoot. And it was like wood and all this other stuff. And then then Ron was like, I got to make it lighter. So then he meets this guy, Duke Levan, who's in Washington. Well, Duke's a machinist who, him and Ron start hunting together, and Duke can do all this aluminum stuff, and he starts making frames. And then they start sewing, fabric together, and then it starts. So there, like you said, there was nothing on the market. It literally was like 1993. And then I don't know how many years after, somebody else came with one, and it had to be at least 3 years. It had, if not more. I don't know that offhand. I know who did it, but I don't know how many years it was. But yeah, it was after.
So now, and again, you touched on it. The company, it wasn't that it was fallen or it was becoming irrelevant or anything, but it was becoming a little bit stagnant. And then you guys stepped in, all waterfowl hunters. So that's the one thing about the purchase of Vinyl Approach. It wasn't a big corporation that, like, you guys aren't a big, you were all hunters, right?
I mean, I've been, you know, I remember the first time going with my dad, you know, I couldn't even carry a BB gun. You know, I was getting drug in, you know, I had like little rubber boots on, and I got stuck on a swamp on this reservoir on this stump. And I sat there and watched my dad and the dog. I mean, we're talking, you know, ages ago. And I've been chasing birds, you know, ever since. And everybody affiliated with the company is a waterfowler. And that, and, you know, Phil said he was kind of in the industry for a little bit, or doing this or doing that. I mean, and you guys know from maybe talking to people, like, listen, there's a lot of companies out there that are in the outdoor space that the CEO, you know, and the top 10 guys from him down never stepped foot in the woods. You know what I mean? How can you do that? You can't do that.
Yeah. You sound like stories that Ryan talks about when his dad would drag him along and he had grocery bags in his rubber boots because they leaked and
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I could have used some of those this morning.
Yeah.
Apparently, I need new turkey boots.
I think everybody's done that, Ryan. I think everybody's dad has pulled that trick out. You know what I mean? Because it's like
you haven't lived until you've protected, used a grocery bag as a water barrier.
yeah.
So
That was Gore-Tex of the early 90s.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't very
100%.
breathable. Wasn't very breathable, but
oh no, my God, no.
Well, it's funny nowadays, at least I don't know what it's like down where you are, Mario, but at least up here, like in Ontario, they're like eliminating grocery bags.
all plastic bags are
Yeah. So like you can't even afford to use those in your boots because they're like a hot commodity.
They're 100% are. Yeah. We're to, like, you have to actually here, you have to pay 5 cents per bag.
yeah, same here.
And they want you to use like just reusable bags, which is fine. That's all good. But yeah, I have, don't worry, I have a stash in the garage. Any kids can come over and get it if their boots are leaking. Like,
We all do.
come on down.
That's funny. Okay. So final approach. So listen, I know you guys got stuff on the cooker. Like there's stuff coming out. I know listen, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see it. Like your social media game is stepping up. You guys are making more, you know, you're being way more visible lately on the social medias and stuff like that. So listen, Mario, let's cut to the chase here. Let's
go.
talk. Yeah, let's talk about some stuff that's coming out for Final Approach. Because listen, anybody that's listened to this show and has listened to all of the people that have been on here as guests in the past, like the waterfowling world in North America is a very, very small piece of the pie when it comes to the hunting world in North America, right? A very small slice of the pie. And you've got some big names that have been around for a long time, and everybody is all sort of kind of going after the same people, right? So
Yes.
and Ryan and I and Phil, and we've all talked about this, that now I couldn't imagine owning a company or being part of a company where you've got to try and be innovative or try and come up with that new idea that you've got to put out on a social media blast where a waterfowler is going to go, that's it. That's the trick right there. I need it.
I need 5 of them.
Yeah.
I remember when I really started to hunt, like as an individual, like, you know, not with my dad, kind of like early 2000s, like 2003, 2004.
Right.
I say that, it doesn't sound that long ago, but it's 2 decades ago now. It scares the shit out of me. But it really, back then there was only 2 brands. It was Avery and Final Approach, and that was it. It was a 2-horse town, period. 100%. So 28, where you guys pick it up in 2018 now, the market from then till now is night and day. There's there's some way more bigger players from those days now. So like, what challenges when you guys kind of take the reins in 2018? What's your initial challenges with, like, hey, how do we attack the market? How do we solidify ourselves back to the good old days again?
You know, actually, you just said it right there. You said, like, get back to the good old days, right? So, and the good old days meant, like, so my first like pro staff gig, let's call it, or whatever, was with Final Approach way back, right? And I was in it for the heyday, right? So getting back to the good old days was absolutely the whole point. Like, get back to products that last for more than a season, products that you can be proud of when you get in them, use them, abuse them, and they're durable, or they're comfortable, or and to be on top of all of that, like yeah, listen, it's a business and we got to make some money, but I'm not trying to gouge anybody. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going, oh, we're going to make a killing, like, let's do this. Like, that's not what it's about. Because I go back to that thing about, guys running a company that aren't waterfowlers. They're not an end user, right? So they don't walk into a store and look at the shelf and go, well, that one's $40, this one's $60, that one's $100. I don't know if I want 40, 100's too much. I'm going to go in the middle at 60 or whatever. You know what I mean? You're looking at that wall or whatever, and you don't know where to turn. And I wanted to get it back to where when you come in and you see the logo, you go, I know that's going to be good, right? I know it's going to work. I know it's going to be durable. And you know what? Like, listen, everything isn't bomb proof, right? If there's a problem, like customer service, there's literally two people who look at customer service emails. I have a guy who is incredible in the office that does it, and I have access and I look every morning. So if I see a problem, I'm the first one to know that, hey, something's wrong. We got to look at that really quick. And so we take a lot of pride in that. And it's like, if you send an email, something's wrong, something broke, like, we'll look at it, like, hey, sometimes it's operator error, we'll help you out, this, whatever. Other times it's like, oh, I haven't seen that issue, but we'll fix it. You know what I mean? And I'll take a look into that and see what's going on. So I am on the front lines of the whole thing. So like, when you go to the store and grab something, like, you're not left for dead. Like, somebody is there and we back our stuff. That's as plain as I could put it.
Awesome. I always wonder how many customer service calls come in. My decoy is all fucked up. Well, send us a picture of it and let us have a look at it.
100% we do that. Like, so
did somebody drive over your decoy?
Shot it.
Well, and here's the good thing, and all you guys will know this, right? And I know this especially just from seeing everything. Somebody sends an email and one of us will reply and say, just like you said, send us some pictures, let us know what's going on. And then we took a look at it, and then we'll take a look and see when they bought them. And then it's like, you can tell if it's like you said, if they drug it down the road behind the trailer, or, is there, like, hey, listen, shit happens in manufacturing. We're not making one of them, we're making thousands. So if somebody missed a step or something happened, or, like, especially on the decoys, like if something happens and like paint didn't stick in one little area or something, like, shit happens, right? Yeah. Like, this isn't a perfect process. So we'll take a look at it, and if we think it's wrong, we'll take care of it. You know what I mean? We're always backing our stuff, but we're also there to take a look at stuff and be like, this one's a little shady. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are people like that, unfortunately.
Weed out a couple of the.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that, but there is. I hate it. Right.
You shouldn't have to hate to say that, because those people are they're trying to cheat the system. Hey, listen, nobody understands it more than I do. I understand that the stuff is expensive, and there's a tear that comes out of my eye every time I shoot a decoy. But you can't cheat the system. The system is the system, and if you're going to try to cheat it, well, then be prepared to be called out that you're trying to cheat the system.
And you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
100%.
But now back to what Brian was saying.
Yeah.
So like now, how you're attacking this, and I'm serious when I'm saying this, that
Yeah.
we're seeing Final Approach being on social media more, being a bit more active. You know, so what's coming? What are we looking forward to for fall or for the season of 2023?
So it took us a few years to get the right distributor in Canada, right?
Okay.
So there is 2 stores over in Calgary, 2 Canadian Tire stores.
Yep.
that Joe, this guy Joe owns, and Jeff is the main guy that helps us get it in there. So they are being our distributor right now. They can ship all across all the provinces.
Mhm.
And we were just a hair late on some items last year, like because listen, freight and shipping and factory stuff has been just a shit show for the last few years, right?
Big time.
So last year a couple things happened, so we missed like the beginning of the season a little bit, like that early September. So there's new honkers there, you know what I mean? Like everything comes a little late, so we got new full bodies and stuff like that maybe people didn't get a chance to get. So this year is going to be finally like the first full year that you're going to see everything. You'll see new live honkers, which are the top of the line honkers. You're going to see some more silhouettes we're putting out because the silhouette game is getting crazy. Big for you guys over on that flyway is the newest thing will be the divers this year, the foam filled divers, which is going to be a huge deal over there. I use them out here on the coast, so I'm excited. Like I literally just got the paint renderings, and they look absolutely sick. Awesome. So I'm a little pumped about those. And there's a couple, there's a couple other things. There's another stand-up blind that's coming that's a little bit bigger. There's a couple bags and incidental things. And the other thing that we're trying to do all the time is we're trying to, and you guys said it before, with everything on the market, like how do you come up with, that next thing? And the good thing is, like, if you're an end user and everybody hunts, like somebody's going to come up with an idea to make it easier, right? Because that's where all the innovation comes from. Absolutely. Redneck duck and goose hunters that were like, hey, I need this, or I need that, or why don't we do it? Like, that's how it happens.
Yeah.
So we have those guys that are always submitting ideas, and we're going through them. And obviously you got to pick the most mass appeal ones, or the ones that are going to sell or whatever. So you got to sift through them, but there's still more innovation to come. So
yeah. And I think that's an important, like, we've said it on here, like I couldn't imagine like how are you going to create that next thing? But 20 years ago people were saying the same thing, and then the coffin blind came out, and then the coffin blind ran its course, and then everybody went to panel blinds, and then it's always, there's always the evolution. It's always there's somebody, one person that will start it, right? And one person comes up with the idea, and that one person just needs to talk to that one right person, and then the ball starts rolling, and things happen, right?
The birds go in cycles too. Like, like how many times were you laying in the middle of the field and they're skirting off you, and then you're like, we got to go to the edge. Just like it was like, hey, we're on the edge and they're skirting away from us. Let's get in the middle of the field with a layout. Like the birds also get hip to everything that's going on too. Like, I swear they get, they got the internet too, and they're looking at all the new stuff coming out, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, so we got to hide from that now. Like,
wow. How many times do you hear people say, well, that's early birds. So you can get away with anything with early birds, and then and then there's and then it's the educated birds, right?
It's nesting season right now. So if a pair of geese can stay together all year and go back to the same river in the same part of the world on the exact same bank year after year, they can figure out what's going on in a decoy spread.
Good point.
At work, we call that a clue.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the detective work coming out of you there, Phil.
I
100%.
passed a course.
Phil
It was,
Colombo.
it was only 5 days, but I passed it.
Phil Colombo.
I always say they get just like you're saying that I always say they get conditioned, right? So they're not like, let's say, smart, right?
No.
Like they don't have, I don't want to say they don't have a memory, but it's kind of in that line. Like they get conditioned, like, hey, how many times are we going to bomb into this spinning wing thing and get shot at until we go, hey, I don't know about this spinning wing thing. Last time we went in there, like a bunch of us got peeled out, or, it could be anything like that stuff. Like they get conditioned, and the more they see the same thing, that's the other thing.
If you keep eating at McDonald's and you keep getting food poisoning, you're probably going to stay away from the golden arches.
Or you're probably just going to die and get filtered out of the system, right?
Yeah.
Either way.
Call that was it Darwinism? Survival of the fittest?
Survival of the fittest. Well, but at the end of the day, they're wild animals, right? And wild animals succeed in the wild by recognizing what threats are.
Yes, and their will to survive and live and all that, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So we've, they've got a brain the size of a pea, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they are geared to survive.
That's right.
So
I think a lot of the stuff we use is going to be like cyclical. Like, with the advancements of layout blinds, they were like the hottest thing, and like everyone and their cousins been using them, and believe me, I still own one, and wholeheartedly they still have a time and a place.
That's right.
But like there's been the big transition to like the panels and the A-frame style blinds.
Yeah.
So there's going to come a time where like birds are not going to decoy to a clump of grass in the middle of a field. Guess
That's
what?
right.
You're back to layout blinds, and
there's
just
no doubt, and that's why you got to have everything in your in your toolbox. Let's say, right? So like you're not going to frame a house with a crowbar. You're going to frame it with a hammer. Like like you got to have this for the job. So you don't know what's going to happen, but they're absolutely on a cycle.
But
100%.
And then this is something that's been coming up a lot lately with people that I've been talking to. And listen, I was one of the I was of the same person, back 20 years ago, when I didn't have money to be going every year and buying new stuff or buying the newest and the latest and greatest, right? And one of my biggest fears with doing this show and talking to people and having people come on is one of my biggest fears is that there's a 15-year-old kid that's listening to this and is saying, okay, this is what I got to have. Listen, just go out. Don't worry about the gear that you think, or that social media or Damien Pittman and Mario Friendly is telling you that you got to have. Don't worry about that right now. Just get out and have some fun and hunt and try and figure stuff out. Do what all of us done, because Mario, I know you didn't. Phil, I know you didn't. And Ryan, I know you didn't. We didn't start hunting wearing Sitka or First Light. We didn't have breathable waders. We didn't have a $2,000 auto loader with fully flocked decoys. Do you know what I mean? So it's awesome to have people come on the show and talk about these new products and stuff. And listen, I'm a gear nut, so I love when new stuff comes out.
Right.
But for anybody that's listening, that's just starting out, or you're just not in the position today to be going out and buying everything, listen, don't worry about it. Just get out there. Just whatever it is that you got to do to get out, then do it.
It's a marathon, not a race.
Yeah, we lost you there, Mario.
Oh, I don't know. Let me take a look and see.
Lost your video, anyways.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's a marathon, not a race.
It is, and whatever you can afford, whatever you can get, whether you get stuff handed down, or you find an old timer who will give you some decoys or give you some clothing or whatever. Like, listen, that's the way we did it, back in the day. Like, you just got whatever you could, and then we, the most important thing is just to get out. Like,
Absolutely.
right, doesn't matter what you do. Like, ride your bike to go fishing. Like, walk down. Like, do whatever you need to do. Like, go. That's the most important thing, that we get more people in the sport. And we always talk about, young kids and getting the young kids in. I mean, shit, I always say take whoever, you
Yeah.
know, somebody's in their 40s, 50s, 60s, they've never been, like, take them. You don't know what they might go, holy God, how was I missing this my whole life?
Well, Mario,
Makes my head blow up.
one thing that we've heard about up here, and I don't know south of the border if these are big things, but they certainly are around here, where your local conservation authority or your local DU chapter or rod and gun club, whatever it is, but they'll do an introductory days to hunting, right? Where they'll bring out kids. Well, one thing that we've been seeing, what we've been told, is that you know, for the sake of a single mom brings her kid out this morning to do an introductory course on waterfowling, and then the mom's like, you know what, I think I'd want to do this, to spend some time with my kid. So now you've got a 40-year-old mom that now you've got her hook. Okay, so now we got a different beast, right? And
that's right.
So now we've got a 40-year-old woman that's brand new to this sport, learning with her child. Okay, so now what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to ensure that we retain that we retain that 40-year-old woman, so that she continues and then introduces more of her friends kids, stuff like that, you know? So one of the questions I was going to ask you was, you know, how do you, as someone that's been in this world for a long time, not to date you, but you know, you've been in it for a long time, and you see this social media side of things now, where things are being pushed down people. How do we retain the new hunter now?
You know, first of all, there's a lot of organizations, doesn't matter where you are, right? So like, I don't know what's over by you guys. But I know the one that comes to my mind first before I bring it down to the States is, in Alberta, there's an organization called Harvest Your Own. And it is all about hunting and new hunters. It's about going out. It's about recipes. It's about, how do I skin an animal? You know what I mean? Like, how do I skin a deer? It's about, you know, okay, how do I put decoys out? Like it's from here to there. It's everything. Down here, California's really good about it. I'll tell you their program really quick. But Oregon they have the same thing. They have an introductory weekend. You sign up your kids to go on a youth hunt. They all have to come, parents and whoever's going with them, guardian, come. They get an introductory. They go through everything, bird ID, what you're going to do, what you're wearing, like everything. And then I've done a bunch of them, but you go and you give a seminar and you talk about this or whatever. But the coolest thing that we have at our youth hunting property, which is owned by the feds, or it's state owned, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, it is federal owned. So there is a program there that, like you said, there's a woman who's 40, her son wants to go, so she signs up. She's a new hunter. Well, when you fill out the form to apply for the hunt, it says, would you like a person to go with you to call? Would you like a person to go with you to bring a dog? Like, you can check all this off. And my buddy James and a couple other friends, like, we've all done it. We've all had, you know, we've all given our time to go do it. And it's like, you know, you go all of a sudden, like, I had a little girl who was, you know, she was like 9 and she shot her first bird. It was a spoonie. Her dad never duck hunted. She was so into it. Her head almost exploded. Right. And dad always hunted elk, and she went elk hunting. And now it's like, oh, I think I need to get into this. This is so much fun. That's how it happens. That's how you retain it. When the kids are in it, then she sees it or he sees it and he's in it. So, and California does kind of the same kind of programs. They have huge, you know, youth programs where actually the kids have to go for the whole weekend, and Fish and Wildlife guys talk to them, and they go through bird ID. They go through, you know, cooking birds, breasting birds, cleaning birds, like doing everything about the whole experience. And that's what you got to do. You got to make it easy to access the information, which everything is out there. But I think the thing that always kills it, which is tough, is properties.
Yeah.
Do they have access? And down here, it's harder than up by you guys, right?
Yeah.
It might be
Um,
harder where you are versus Alberta or Saskatchewan because of the population, right?
Yeah.
It's not getting any easier around here.
Right. So the access is 100%, like, are we going to retain people or whatever? So the provinces, the states, like everybody has to do a better job of managing and keeping those things going, because that's what's going to keep the new people. They don't have money to buy into a duck club, go on a guided hunt. Like, they just want to get out in the woods and maybe shoot a few birds and go home. Like,
Ryan, I know you had a big, like you and Merck, both of yous, donated a lot of your time when you were in the Ottawa Valley to that, that first hunt sort of kind of thing. Did you guys ever experience that parent that wanted to get into it with the kid?
I was kind of thinking about it when Mario was talking about it, actually, and it happened on a few occasions where we have, like, you get like your 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, and they come through our mentorship program. That's what it was. And we take them hunting, and we also had what's my opinion was the real hook, is we had what's called a family day in August, and it's like a barbecue, and we have like decoy setups, and the kids that are in the program, they actually lay in a layout blind for the first time, and we show them with like broomsticks how to actually get out of the layout blind and shoulder, like when they'll actually go on the hunt. And we have like dog training seminars and calling training and all this, like all these activities, and it's open for the whole family. So you have these kids go through the program, and their moms and their dads and their grandparents are there, and their little brothers and sisters are there. And I did this for, I don't know, 5-6 years, myself and Mark. And it was cool because one year you would have the 15-year-old older sister, and then 2 years later you have the younger brother come through too. And then you're the parents remember you, and they recognize you, and they come up and they're like, well, both my kids do this now, so I'm into this. Like, that's what that's nuts. Yeah, he's like, thanks for nothing. And I was like, well, I tried to warn you. So
Thanks for emptying my bank account now on
yeah, I've got hockey season and hunting season. Well, good luck to you.
Hey, I mean, you gotta round out your kids, you know what I mean? So they do a lot and figure out what they want to do.
Absolutely.
So,
what's that meme that goes around? Well, if you introduce your kids to duck hunting, they won't have any money to buy drugs. So
exactly.
Keep them in the duck hunting. No money to buy drugs. Sorry, I had something that I was going to ask.
No, you're good. Like like you were saying, I had a kid who this one comes to my memory all the time, and I tell it all the time because he's actually been on our web series on one of our shows on our YouTube channel. Kevin was his name. His mom emailed me in the middle of nowhere, like during hunting season one time, and says, my son wants to go duck hunting. None of us duck hunt. I don't know where he's getting this from. He's like 8 years old. He wants to go. He doesn't have his license, whatever. So we end up taking him, and it's a terrible day. It's cold, like really cold. And we're in layout blinds on the sheet water. And I literally brought like sleeping bag for him because I'm like, oh my God, this kid is going to freeze. Right. So like we shot literally 2 birds, and his dad came, and his dad didn't hunt. And he was like, that was it. He was hooked. Right. So now we fast forward, Kevin's like 20 years old now, and he helps me at a bunch of the properties here. His dad is in my duck club, and his dad's now like a hunting fanatic. Like, all this goes full circle, all because some 8-year-old kid like saw like something on TV and was like, oh my God, I want to go do that. Bam, there it is.
And you know what? As much, I'll use this term very loosely when I say the hardcore duck hunters. So when Duck Dynasty come out, I think a lot of the hardcore duck hunters sort of kind of put their nose up at it because they're like, it's not doing anything great for the sport and all this. And you know what? There may be some examples of that. but there's also a ton of examples of 8-year-old kids that was what got them hooked. They were like, you know what, this looks like a lot of fun. And
right.
And there was some that did it just, and it was a quick fad. When it got really cold and really miserable out, they were like, well, this isn't for me. But
Right.
then there were a lot of people that Duck Dynasty and the advent of, remember when the DVDs were a big thing?
Oh, bro, are you kidding me?
You know, those were the golden days, and that's when recruitment was just, it was just going through the roof, because there was DVDs, there were shows. I know, like, I didn't even used to do it, and it was Ryan that got me into it.
Right.
Like, Ryan, I would go over to Ryan's house and we would watch like these friggin' videos on YouTube through his PlayStation. He'd be like, "Hey, did you see this?" I remember. Remember the Nomad series? Remember those guys?
Yeah, that's good. Hey Mario,
Yeah.
I think when your name popped up, I was like, were you on a Buck Gardner video back in the day?
Bro,
Yeah.
I worked for Buck. I worked for Buck in 2005 to right in there, like 2004 to like 2007. Yeah.
Made in America, right?
Made
That's
in
the one you're on.
America.
Great.
Yep.
I have two copies of that DVD for
Oh
some
my
reason.
God.
But yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And we did that. We did that one because for some reason something happened and we couldn't go to Canada. And we all said, well, why don't we just shoot it all down here? You know what I mean? No slight against Canada, but something happened and we couldn't go.
Yeah.
So we were like, because, you know, if you're smart, you go up and start your season there, just because, like, you know, you're going to see a ton of birds. Doesn't matter where you go. Like, it's going to happen. So yeah, I worked for Buck for a while. And then I got a job working for Fred at Zinc and Avian X. And then we got bought by Plano Synergy. And then Plano Synergy just got bought again, but I got out before that. So yeah, like it's been a long road, and I was guiding before all this. So you know, it really goes back, and it's changed a lot. And the thing, Damien, that you were talking about on the videos, I talk about this all the time, and especially with, like, we talk about like the new generation, and it's no disrespect or nothing, but the thing about that I like to say is, you know, back when you were watching videos, and Ryan, you were watching them, right? Like, you were looking up to these guys, like, you know, you were watching Buck, or you're watching, you know, Phil, or you're watching Barney Califf, right? You're watching all these Tim Grounds, you're watching all these guys that are like
royalty,
these icons and foils, right? You could just keep talking about them. You know, you talk about Randy Bartz in Minnesota, or there's a million guys, right? And we're losing all those guys now. They're passing away. They don't do anything anymore. Like, we're losing all those, that DVD TV era. And now we're going to like the YouTube star. And I'm not trying to slight the YouTube guys and that kind of stuff, but it's like the guys who were doing the videos were like really doing it to, you know, show what they could do and try to give you some instruction and help you out. And that's what furthered, I think, all the guys watching those videos, because how much stuff did you guys learn off of watching those videos and going? And I think we've kind of lost our way a little bit on that now. And I'm not going to say it's everybody, it's not, but it's like, you know, how many birds did you shoot, or show me the pile pictures, or whatever. Like, I would rather push stuff in and say, hey, listen, you know, the reason we did this today is because, you know, the birds were, you know, kicking us in the ass and we had to move, the wind shifted, like we did it, like whatever, right? So maybe that could help somebody else, because I've always been a big believer in that kind of stuff, even when, like, you know, Ryan, you probably remember when seminars were huge at stores and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Bro, I couldn't wait to go do a seminar, because I was so excited that somebody might come out of it and learn something, and then they go and do it, and then it works for them, and they're more successful. And that's all I wanted to do, was do those. And I wasn't like, you know, I wouldn't get up and talk like I was, you know, like I knew more than everybody. I would always say, and I still say it now. I said, listen, the only reason that I'm going to try to give you some information and help you is because I've spent so much time in the field that things have gone wrong for us so many times, and we just figured out how to correct it. So if I could pass some of that stuff on to you guys, so when you hit that problem or it happens to you, or do this so it doesn't happen, like that's all I was ever trying to push hard,
Man, I'm so glad you dropped Barney Caleb's name there, because
man,
the Take 'Em series was like my all-time favorite hunting DVD. Like, you just served a huge piece of like nostalgia pie to me there. That was
the only
amazing.
thing about Barney. I would be sitting watching Barney, and he'd be in that big ass boat, right?
Mm.
And I'd sit there and I'd go, Barney, buy a freaking dog, bro. That's all I would think the whole time. Like, I'm a dog guy, I'm a dog nut, like I love the dogs, and I'm thinking to myself, Barney, you waterfowl hunt like a madman out of the boat.
Yeah.
Somebody bring a damn dog and put it in that damn boat.
Man, every time I'm hunting and it's like slow and I'm like, or it's crappy out, I'm like, I don't know, I might pack it up. I just stick and stay. What did you say? Stick and stay and make them pay. Like,
That's
all
right.
I'm staying. I'm staying.
You guys brought up something there when you were talking about the DVDs, right? And talking about, today's culture where it's the pics of the piles, right? And all that, which seem so. Do you guys think that this is a fair statement? So even when Fred and all of these guys were doing all these videos, Sean Stahl, all these guys were traveling around doing all these videos, the piles, because everybody wants to shoot birds, right? Like
no doubt.
Right? Everybody wants to have a banger hunt, but in all those videos, all those DVDs back in the day, the pile was strategically placed. All the attention wasn't on the pile, right? Like you'd get a quick shot of a pile of birds at the very end of the video.
Right.
And it would always be that, the stack of birds and the camera going down the line, right?
Yeah.
And but it was very strategic. It was placed there. Listen, we got our birds.
Right.
We had a banger hunt.
Well, you saw all the hard work that went into it
exactly
before you saw the pile, right?
Yeah.
And then you were like Ryan said, you watched the whole video and you saw them like get the truck stuck and they had to get out of the boat and pull like shit came off the rails, right? We flat tire, like holy shit, flat tire on the trailer. Like you already know that's happening, right? That's a gimme, right?
That's like a normal day for some of us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
That's a normal day for most of us, I think, Bill.
Yeah. So you see all that, and then you still see them struggle and get through and then shoot their birds. And I think the thing is you felt like you were there, right? You felt like you were with them on that hunt and you felt like part of the group, and it just made you feel good, and it wanted to make you get out and go chase birds. And I think it wanted me, like when I watched them, I wanted to work harder and know more. And I always watched videos. I don't care. I wanted to see where they were hunting. You know what I mean? That was the thing for me. I wanted to see the scenery. I didn't care, like, of course everybody wants to shoot birds and there's the pile or whatever, but I'm like, holy God, look at Barney's on that river with that boat. And I'm like, holy God, I want to go there one day. Like just things like that would that would get me all tuned in.
The backdrop was like, I'd watch those videos and like, man, if I can find a spot where I can hunt flooded buckbrush or like a flooded bean field, like where I can hide, like I'm always looking for spots that I can replicate where I saw, like, it's like I'm trying to relive a memory that I saw through another, like through a DVD. Like, it's just, I know it sounds odd, but it's like this thing I'm constantly pursuing. Like
it's not odd at all. It goes to show the power of what those series were, right?
Man, insane.
But remember, and it didn't happen all the time, and you didn't see it on every one of the DVDs, but every once in a while you would see it happen to someone. And these are, to steal a term from Bobby Hayes, these are killers, right? Like these fellas are, breathing it, and they're killers. They've been walking the walk for a long time. And when they would see a funky bird, how excited these grown ass men would get over a funky bird would
Oh, at
be
a Quill Lake.
absolute. Oh, buddy,
A
it
quill,
would-
yeah.
you know what it'd be. I
Yeah.
remember me and Ryan and Mark down in Nova Scotia
Oh.
for like 3 days, like chase a bird, like just following this bird around like through glass, trying to find where is it?
Oh,
This is where we
the
seen
bib,
it.
the
Yeah,
bib
the
mallard.
The bib mallard, and we
He's in my
chased that-
freezer right now.
That's good, but I tell
Yeah.
you what, but that it was those little things, the excitement that these grown ass men.
Yeah,
who
you
have been
felt
gi-
it.
Oh, buddy, it was a magical time. It was a magical time. So this is sort of kind of where I'm getting at now, because I'm talking to my friends and stuff like this. And I had this feeling, and Mario, you're in the industry where marketing is a thing now. I had this feeling, and you could say I'm really wrong, and you're not going to hurt my feelings, but I honestly think the days of social media making you famous, those days are over. I think social media is coming back now to what it was originally meant for, and that was quick updates, quick stories, quick this is what we're doing, this is a product I'm using. Hey, I'm using the new Final Approach decoys. Here they are. Look at this. Here, this
Well,
is what we're using.
It's harder now to grow your numbers, right? It's
Yeah.
because everybody has stuff out there, right?
Tell
It's
me
really hard.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for everybody, right? Because everybody's fighting over the same eyeballs, right? And reels are a big thing right now, and everybody's doing reels and stuff like that. And we're always trying to, give a mix of stuff, like, give some instruction. You always got to throw some entertainment stuff in there. You got to put everything together just to stay relevant and just kind of keep up, in people's lives. And like you said, like post, be up to date, give updates, do whatever. Like we're just trying to do that, just to have people, because for me, like the social media reach is I would just want people to be a part of the family, right?
Yeah.
And keep up to date with us. What's new? Hey, I used this morning. I liked it. Hey, I used this morning and this is what happened. I didn't like it, or something, whatever it is. But the other side of social media that we did touch on, and which really is probably the bad part, is I think there's a lot of people that are afraid to post because they know the backlash is coming, right? Somebody posts, like, listen, somebody shoots like 2 spoonbills, right? And everybody's like, what did you do that for? Why did you shoot a hen? Like all
The
this, and
spoonies
just
are the
like
real
rip it.
greenhead.
The what?
Spoonies are the real greenhead.
Bro, they are the other white meat, right? So, everybody is afraid of that. But then you have the people that do that kind of stuff, and those are the people that like kind of kill it for me on the hunting side. And that's the only thing I always get, or I will get frustrated with. Like I've defended a couple guys that, like, hey, he went on the management area. His day off of work, right? He goes out, he shoots 3 birds, he shoots a hen mallard and a spoonbill and a widgeon, and he puts the pictures up, and guys are like, just start tearing them apart. And I said, it was a local thing, and I just got on and I said, hey, he had his day off.
Yeah.
He got to go hunting and shoot a couple birds. Like, do you guys really have to comment on something like that? Like, and this is a guy that maybe is new. Maybe he gets out and hunts 5 times a year.
Absolutely.
That's the kind of guy that I like.
Yeah.
Because he's doing the sport. He does it when he can. He's not like shooting his mouth off. He's not doing that. He's just like having a good time. And when people berate people like that, man, that's the thing that gets under my skin the most.
He's not trying to put like all greenheads for a social media platform. He's just trying to put meat on his table. Like,
and he's just having a good time, right?
Yeah.
But that dude or lady, that man or woman that does that, they are the majority of us, right? Because there's not many of us that can do it 5 days a week,
right?
Do you know what I mean? So, the guy and girl that works their 40 hours a week and they get Saturday morning. That's it. Those are the common people. What the guys like me that can go anytime I want. There's not many of us. Like I don't have any friends that, well, I got one, Jason, that can do it, right? There's not many of these guys. But my thing with the social media side, so two things. So I'll talk on something that happened here in Ontario just yesterday. But the social media side of things is that, so when we're talking about the DVD age,
right,
and those royalties of waterfowling,
no doubt,
right? But now you look at, fellas, and it's not everybody, just like I'm not painting everybody with the same brush, but now there's this shock and awe thing, because now you're trying to get the likes. Now you're trying to get the shares, right?
Yes.
So
And
how many
subscribers and
how many
Apparently you
times
can pay for that.
Yeah, well, you can pay for that, but how many times did we see, and we've talked about it, I know Ryan and Phil, we've talked about it, where we've seen a dude with a dog and the dog breaks, they're shooting over the dog, just totally unsafe. They know it's unsafe. They know they're going to get ripped apart about it, but they do it anyways because that gets views and it gets likes or dislikes, or it gets comments or something, but it keeps them relevant in that news cycle.
And like they say, even bad publicity is good publicity.
I knew that was coming, Phil.
Yeah.
But now, so here's the second part. So to touch on what you said, Mario, about people being afraid about the backlash. So turkey season right now in Ontario. So a young fella, him and his buddy go out into a field and they double up on two birds, right?
Right.
Just like what most of us do.
Right.
The one guy gets his picture taken with the two birds. His buddy is behind the camera
taking the picture.
You would not believe the amount of asshats that jumped on this kid. And I'll say he was a kid. He was in his late teens, early 20s.
Younger.
Right? Phil, you've probably seen it. And just
lost
it on this kid. What are you doing shooting two birds in a day? Who the fuck is taking the picture, you dumbass? Like, think about before
I'm sorry, were you there?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's holding the camera?
But these are the things that is just like...
This is why I drink, Mario.
That's why most people do that. It's no secret. It's stuff like this. And that's the bad part. Like that's the thing. That's, I said, the backlash, like the kids went out, shot two turkeys. Like, who cares? Like, did they shoot Jakes? Did they shoot Toms? The only thing I say is, if they are in man, woman, child, hunter, angler, whatever, if they are in their limits of the law, and they're abiding by the rules, whether it's trapping, hunting, fishing, gathering, like whatever, if you're within the law, I'm good with that. I might not like, I might not agree. Like if you walk the roost and shoot the roost and kick all the birds off, like I might not agree with that. But if you got one day to get out and that's what you do, like I can't say anything about that. That's legal.
At the end of the day, like you got two options: give him an attaboy, or shut your fucking pie hole,
or help him, or you could say, hey,
listen, option 3.
Right. So maybe you go, hey, like that's the thing I definitely notice, and I will throw a DM when I do see something like that where somebody's getting ripped or whatever, and I go, hey, next time, and here, I don't know why my thing keeps going out, but I'll refresh here. Like I'll say, hey, why don't you do this next time, right?
Oh, hi.
Whoa.
Hey there.
That's way up close.
Oh.
Let's see.
Up
How you doing?
And personal.
Oh, I got a different camera. That's why.
Oh,
so here, let me tune it this way. There we go.
There
So I'll say, hey, why don't you do this, right? Why don't you do this instead of like jump shooting the roost? Like, why not do that? And they're like, oh, I didn't think of that. And then next time he's like, good to go, right?
Yeah.
Hello. Like, help the guy. Like, like back in the day, you talk about that kind of stuff, right, Damien? If you would have called Fred Zink or Tim Grounds or Sean Stahl or any of those guys and said, hey, I have a problem, like the birds are doing this and I'm doing that and I'm not getting the results, I guarantee you they would have spent time on the phone, because there was no text messaging or whatever. You would have been on the phone, right? And they would have taken time out of their day and said, you know what, here's what to do. Try this. And you know what? There you go. That's the thing.
Yep.
Hunters need to help hunters and anglers, everybody in this zone, right?
Yeah.
We need to help each other. You don't need to give them your spots. That's the thing. You don't need to tell them where to go, right? Because everybody's all panicked. Just help them out, though. That's how the sport keeps going. If you don't do that, this doesn't keep going.
No, 100%.
Okay, I've said it before on the show, and I'll say it again. We are our own worst enemy.
Yeah,
You are right.
100%.
You are right. And we got to get back to that. We got to get back to, you know, pushing for, you know, like the thing is, like, if somebody comes after like hunter rights, like we're going to ban bear hunting in Nova Scotia, right? Holy God, everybody gets together, right? But if somebody shoots two turkeys with two guys and they take a picture, they're up that guy's ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like one doesn't make sense. Like, you're going, why did you guys just do that? Like, and waterfowlers, like, two of the worst categories is waterfowlers and bow hunters and fly fishermen.
Fly fishermen.
Here, hold on.
Funny.
Let me hold the fish.
No, great point.
Shit.
Listen, we're at that. We're just over our hour mark, guys. Mario, this is awesome, buddy. Which means you got to come back on again. Because
listen,
100%.
bro, you guys say whatever. Like,
yeah,
you know, we one thing I want to touch is we are going to do the Toronto show with you guys. We're going to be in that area.
I can't believe I forgot to bring that up. So Ryan, I know how much you love hearing about
I love it.
how much you love hearing about the Toronto Sportsman Show.
I'm happy about it now, though.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah. Mario, and that they've already, that their deposits paid. They're coming into
Paperwork's done. Yep.
Yeah, they're into the refuge. So Mario and them are going to be at the Mario and Final Approach is going to be at the Toronto Sports Show. I can't believe I forgot to even bring that up. That's
well, we were shooting the shit so much, like, you know, it just
one job.
time flies. So we're gonna be there. We did the Calgary show last year. That was good for us there, and we're just trying to get to all the provinces and go. And
except
you know,
Quebec.
like, I still get emails, like, where can I get stuff, or where can I look at it? Like we had those guys mirror our website. So when you look at Final Approach or fabrand.ca, you know, www.fabrand.ca, it is the Canadian site. It is for Canada. It's in Canadian dollars. Everything it is to ship, like all that. So everything is done for you guys. So I keep pushing that because, you know, like I said, Canada was such a huge market for us, and we're still pushing to get the word out because people think we just vanished and we're gone. And I know how important Canada was, and I've been struggling to really push it. So yeah, we're excited. You know, some folks know we're up there, and I just keep pushing it hard just to, you know, if I could move up there, I would. My wife says she doesn't want to be that cold, but I keep pushing.
I'd move south if I could. No, buddy, thank you for what you're doing. Like, we really do appreciate it because, and it's not that the America or the brands don't care about the Canadian market. It's just it's a small piece, and like Heath Hancock from Apex Ammunition said, it's easier to get ammunition into Afghanistan than it is into Canada. Bro,
I just told somebody the other day, I wish I was in the war business a little bit, just to subsidize like all the money, like just to clear up some, because man, folks are making money at war, like they always do.
Yeah, they always do. But Mario, buddy, thanks. You got to come back on. We'll get Steve from Copped Up the straps. I forget.
Yeah.
Cupped up custom
Yeah,
straps.
cup the Waterfowl, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get Steve. We'll get David Bingham on. We'll get you on.
Oh
and
yeah.
we'll just have a great. We'll have a great time.
Oh, that'd be
we'll do a
great.
quick-
Yeah, go ahead. You do your thing. Sorry, go ahead.
We'll do a quick round the table. Give you the last words, and then we'll start working on the next date that you're going to come on. Philly, to you,
Awesome.
buddy.
Mario, absolute pleasure. It was a riot chatting, and we had some good laughs. And again, like, I've been a long supporter of the FA brand, and like I think I'm still rocking some FA mallards. And I actually know for a fact that the 6 black ducks I have out in my decoy shed are FAs.
Nice.
Still going strong. And
Nice.
I bought those. Oh shit, she'd be 15 plus years ago.
Oh, I bet you was.
And
I bet you was.
still going strong, and I won't give them up for dead. Like,
Awesome.
yeah, you guys are doing well. You're nailing it. You're putting stuff into Canada. You're putting stuff into hunters' hands. You guys are hunters for hunters, and just keep doing it.
Thank you, buddy.
Ryan.
Yeah, nice meeting you, Mario.
Thanks, buddy.
Super fun time.
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna hang up after this, go in my garage and search for my Take 'em DVDs.
Hey, if you don't have them, I know I have a box here, so don't
I
trip.
have
When I
them.
come up there, you
What's
better
that?
have your DVD player ready, bro, because I will bring a stack with me.
I don't even.
You were
Man,
almost-
I'm
You
You
were
know what
almost
I'm scared about?
fangirling there.
I know.
Ryan.
I'm scared. I'm scared I'm gonna find these DVDs and realize I don't have a DVD player anymore. Like, what's that? Like, it's like a VCR player now. Like, I'm gonna have to fire it in like the old
Beta.
PS4 or dust it off or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but no, I'll figure it out, man. But no, it was so much fun and a whole bunch of nostalgia for me. I had a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And yeah, man, please come back on and good luck in Saskatchewan. Hope you guys
appreciate it.
slay the White Devils.
We're gonna
Slay the
try.
White Devils. Mario, last word to you, my man.
Listen, appreciate it, you guys. Like, totally fun. Like, I love coming on podcasts like this where we're literally just shooting the shit, enjoying. Like, we're talking about tradition, we're talking about history, we're talking about like now, but we're always talking about like how to keep people in the sport and how to get everybody more, a more cohesive unit and stick together. So that's the part that I like, because I want to try to teach the younger generation like what to do. And it has nothing to do with it's got to be like our way, right?
Yeah.
We're just trying to say like, here's how we came through, and they don't have to come through the same way, but here's something to do or something to learn or stick together. And don't bash a guy on social when you see him. Say, hey man, way to go, way to shoot those birds, like way to have a great day out. Like, that's all, that's really it. So yeah, thanks for having me on. I can't wait to do it again. And then 100% we'll be out of hand at the Sportswood Show. That goes without saying.
It's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so much fun. I will before I do my closing, I will tell you I listened to Bobby Hayes's new podcast, the Ducklander Call podcast, which was episode 2 today, and he actually brought up, because he's talking about gear, and he's talking about gear that he uses and stuff that he recommends, and Bobby actually brought up Final Approach decoys and
Awesome.
saying just how durable they are, right? So
we're pretty happy about that. That's what I'm talking about. It's try to make something good that lasts a couple hunts and a couple years and a couple seasons, and you don't have to replace every year. We're trying to get back to the tradition in the old days.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 143 of the Union 0430. As always, we'll never pretend to be experts. We're a group of friends that absolutely love hanging out, drinking beer, and telling lies, because that's what hunters do. Big love, look after one another, and we'll see you next time.